So as you just saw, you could see some of the welds ended up breaking whenever I was turning, and I guess that part or that piece of metal, I guess the welds just didn't really want to stick to. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that off. I need to re-weld those, and then I am going to mark up where I'm going to cut the excess material on the front fenders, hopefully get all the fenders cleaned up, finished how I want them to be, and then I'm going to continue doing those little parts that I was talking about in the front and the rear of each flare. Now that I've got that done, I'm going to mark where the tire kind of is so I can get the same fitment as the rear on the front. You can see there's like so much excess material here that, you know, I'm going to go ahead and cut that off, make this a little bit more even. You can kind of see it's kind of all over the place. I don't know what really happened with these front ones. The rear ones are much better. They still need some work, but not nearly as much. The rear ones could almost just be left alone. They're not going to be, but certainly better than the fronts. So I actually just found out this method by using this electrical tape, since it kind of bends easily. I just kind of figured out where I wanted to cut, so I just put the edge of this side of the edge where I want to cut it. And so what I'll do is I'll just take a marker, I'll mark that, I'll peel that off, and then I'll take my tool that I used to cut this and cut this off here. I probably won't even have to lift the car or anything. I actually might lift the car just a little bit just so I don't hit the tire here. Not that I think it would do any damage, but there's no reason not to. It's too easy to. So this is looking pretty good. Now I'm just going to do it to the other side and see how it works out. Holy shit, guys. I wish you guys could see how perfect this is. So I made it stick out a little bit more here than I normally would, and stick in a little bit further than I normally would here, just because this was too big and this was a little bit smaller than I'd like it to be. So I mean, this is almost right here is just perfect. Now it is a little squiggly. Obviously I can go ahead and go back with the grinder, clean that up a little bit, and I probably will eventually, but not right now. I'm gonna do the other side and I'll come back to you when it's done. This, very, very happy with the results. Still looks very big in the front, but I'm not really too concerned about that. I'm just gonna do this side, see how it looks, but this definitely much happier with. So this one turned out really well as the other one. This one has a little bit more gap, and I almost just cut myself. This one has a little bit more gap in between the tire and the fender, which is actually really good, especially for the front, and just because it'll allow me to turn a little bit more. This one, I wish the other one was like this one, but as you can see here, it's kind of rubbing. I think right there and right there it actually has contact right now. So obviously I'm going to need to kind of bring that up a little bit. And it's kind of funny because the sides that I had the black marking on, that I followed the black marking, don't really fit the tire as well as this side, where all I did was just mark where the fender was on the other side. I marked it here and there, and then I tackled it there and there, and then I just laid it up against here, just however it wanted to go. And then, you know, obviously you see this one and this one, they both have really good clearance throughout the tire, whereas you know, unlike that side, this one I had to kind of bend this up and it looks kind of choppy, but I'll find some way to make that look cleaner and get some more clearance and stuff. Not really going to worry about it too much right now. I'm just going to try and focus on getting the rest of the flares done. So now I've got this pretty much set up how I want. I wasn't really going to follow this contour too much, just pain in the ass, so I ended up just going cut there, just 2 straight lines. It'll simplify it and it'll still look good. It almost seemed like I meant to do that, which I mean I kind of did, but anyways, this looking pretty good. Front looks pretty good from here as well. Kind of just finishes it off. Now the front, I'm not too sure if I'm going to do the same thing where this is about 4 inches, 4.5 inches, if I'm going to have this come down about 4.5 inches, or if I'm going to have it go down to here. Because as you can see here, going down to here is not really that much. So I could just go down a few inches in the front and then go down that like 4 inches in the rear. Not really too sure what I'm gonna do yet. I added this kind of lip and bent this over, and this is just so I can rivet it to the other panel. I could tack weld it, but I decided that rivets would be cooler, and that's what I want, so that's what I'm gonna do. So you might not have noticed, but I ended up breaking another weld right here while I was doing these. I was trying to get this out, pull it out so I didn't go into my tire. So I had to come back out here, re-weld this, and I don't really have time to do the rest, but essentially it's just going to be the same thing there. I'm going to go ahead and do an update whenever I'm completely done or whatever. In later videos you end up seeing whenever it's completely finished, but you get the main point of what's going on here, and that's where I'm going to conclude this video series. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video, and peace out.
Dare you, I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what?
One more time.